Hey family, this is day 30 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're covering Leviticus chapters 5 through 8. Now we're still in the details and the laws that God is giving to Moshe out from the tabernacle, and the fact that nobody can go into the tabernacle yet, right? God is giving these laws to Moshe that are for the priests on how to perform sacrifice and sacrifices for the sake of how Israel can make atonement with God. Something that I didn't talk about yesterday. Maybe I'll talk about it a little bit at the end of this video. But Leviticus 5 through 8, let's see how it goes. And if anyone does wrong by saying nothing when he is put under oath as a witness of something he has seen or had knowledge of, then he will be responsible. If anyone becomes unclean through touching unconsciously some unclean thing, such as the dead body of an unclean beast or of unclean cattle, or of any unclean animal which goes flat on the earth, he will be responsible. Or if he becomes unclean through touching unconsciously any unclean thing of man, whatever it may be, when it is made clear to him, he will be responsible. Or if anyone, without thought, takes an oath to do evil or to do good, whatever he says, without thought, with an oath, having no knowledge of what he is doing, when it becomes clear to him, he will be responsible for any of these things. And whoever is responsible for any such sin, let him make a statement openly of his wrongdoing, and take to the Lord the offering for the wrong which he has done, a female from the flock, a lamb or a goat, for a sin offering, and the priest will take away his sin. And if he has not money enough for a lamb, then let him give for his offering to the Lord 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a sin offering and one for a burnt offering. And let him take them to the priest, who will first give the sin offering, twisting off its head from its neck, but not cutting it in two. And he is to put drops of the blood of the offering on the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood is to be drained out at the base of the altar. It is a sin offering. And the second is for a burnt offering, in agreement with the law, and the priest will take away his sin, and he will have forgiveness. But if he has not enough money for 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, then let him give, for the sin he has done, the 10th part of an ephah of the best meal for a sin offering. Let him put no oil on it, and no perfume, for it is a sin offering. And let him come to the priest with it, and the priest will take some of it in his hand, to be burned on the altar as a sign, among the offerings of the Lord made by fire. It is a sin offering. And the priest will take away his sin, and he will have forgiveness. And the rest of the offering will be the priest's, in the same way as the meal offering. And the Lord said to Moshe, if anyone is untrue, sinning in error in connection with the holy things of the Lord, let him take his offering to the Lord, a male sheep from the flock, without any mark, of the value fixed by you in silver by shekels, by the scale of the holy place. And he is to make payment to the priest for what he has done wrong in relation to the holy thing, together with a 5th part of its value in addition, and the priest will take away his sin by the sheep of his offering, and he will have forgiveness. And if anyone does wrong and does any of the things which the Lord has given orders are not to be done, though he has no knowledge of it, still he is in the wrong and he is responsible. Let him come to the priest with a sheep, a male without any mark out of the flock, of the value fixed by you as an offering for his error. And the priest will take away the sin which he did in error, and he will have forgiveness. It is an offering for his error. He is certainly responsible before the Lord. And the Lord said to Moshe, if anyone does wrong and is untrue to the Lord, acting falsely to his neighbor in connection with something put in his care, or something given for a debt, or has taken away anything by force, or has been cruel to his neighbor, or has taken a false oath about the loss of something which he has come across by chance, if a man has done any of these evil things, causing sin to come on him, then he will have to give back the thing he took by force or got by cruel acts, or the goods which were put in his care, or the thing he came on by chance, or anything about which he took a false oath. He will have to give it all back, with the addition of a 5th of its value, to him whose property it is, when he has been judged to be in the wrong. Then let him take to the Lord the offering for his wrongdoing, giving to the priest for his offering a male sheep from the flock, without any mark of the value fixed by you. And the priest will take away his sin from before the Lord, and he will have forgiveness for whatever crime he has done. And the Lord said to Moshe, give orders to Aaron and to his sons, saying, this is the law for the burnt offering. The offering is to be on the firewood on the altar all night until the morning, and the fire of the altar is to be kept burning. And the priest is to put on his linen robes and his linen trousers, and take up what is left over of the offering after it has been burned on the altar, and put it by the side of the altar. Then, having taken off his linen robes and put on other clothing, he is to take it away into a clean place outside of the tent circle. The fire on the altar is to be kept burning, it is never to go out. Every morning the priest is to put wood on it, placing the burned offering in order on it, and there the fat of the peace offering is to be burned. Let the fire be kept burning on the altar at all times, it is never to go out. And this is the law for the meal offering. It is to be offered to the Lord before the altar by the sons of Aaron. The priest is to take in his hands some of the meal offering, and of the oil of it, and all the perfume on it, burning it on the altar as a sign, for a sweet smell to the Lord. And whatever is left over, Aaron and his sons may have for their food, taking it without leaven in a holy place. In the open space of the tent of meeting they may take a meal of it. It is not to be cooked with leaven. I have given it to them as their part of the offerings made by fire to me. It is most holy, as are the sin offerings and the offerings for error. Every male among the children of Aaron may have it for food. It is their right forever through all your generations. From the offerings made by fire to the Lord, anyone touching them will be holy. And the Lord said to Moshe, This is the offering which Aaron and his sons are to make to the Lord on the day when he is made priest. The 10th part of an ephah of the best meal for a meal offering forever, half of it in the morning and half in the evening. Let it be made with oil on a flat plate. When it is mixed well and cooked, let it be broken and taken in as a meal offering for a sweet smell to the Lord. And the same offering is to be given by that one of his sons who takes his place as priest, by an order forever. All of it is to be burned before the Lord. Every meal offering offered for the priest is to be completely burned. Nothing of it is to be taken for food. And the Lord said to Moshe, Say to Aaron and his sons, This is the law for the sin offering. The sin offering is to be put to death before the Lord in the same place as the burnt offering. It is most holy. The priest by whom it is offered for sin is to take it for his food in a holy place, in the open space of the tent of meeting. Anyone touching the flesh of it will be holy, and if any of the blood is dropped on any clothing, the thing on which the blood has been dropped is to be washed in a holy place. But the vessel of earth in which the flesh was cooked is to be broken, or if a brass vessel was used, it is to be rubbed clean and washed out with water. Every male among the priests may take it for his food, it is most holy. No sin offering, the blood of which is taken into the tent of meeting to take away sin in the holy place, may be used for food. It is to be burned with fire. And this is the law of the offering for wrongdoing. It is most holy. They are to put to death the offering for wrongdoing in the same place as the burned offering, and the priest is to put the blood on and around the altar. And all the fat of it, the fat tail and the fat covering the inside parts, is to be given as an offering. And the 2 kidneys and the fat on them, which is by the top of the legs, and the fat joining the liver and the kidneys, he is to take away. They are to be burned by the priests on the altar for an offering made by fire to the Lord. It is an offering for wrongdoing. Every male among the priests may have it as food in a holy place. It is most holy. As is the sin offering, so is the offering for wrongdoing. There is one law for them. The priest who makes the offering to take away sin, he is to have it. And the priest offering any man's burned offering for him may have the skin of the burned offering which is offered by him. And every meal offering which is cooked in the oven, and everything made in a cooking pot or on a flat plate, is for the priest by whom it is offered. And every meal offering, mixed with oil or dry, is for all the sons of Aaron in equal measure. And this is the law for the peace offerings offered to the Lord. If any man gives his offering as a praise offering, then let him give with the offering unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and thin unleavened cakes covered with oil, and cakes of the best meal well mixed with oil. With his peace offering let him give cakes of leavened bread as a praise offering. And let him give one out of every offering to be lifted up before the Lord, that it may be for the priest who puts the blood of the peace offering on the altar. And the flesh of the praise offering is to be taken as food on the day when it is offered. No part of it may be kept until the morning. But if his offering is made because of an oath or given freely, it may be taken as food on the day when it is offered. And the rest may be used up on the day after. But if any of the flesh of the offering is still unused on the 3rd day, it is to be burned with fire. And if any of the flesh of the peace offering is taken as food on the 3rd day, it will not be pleasing to God and will not be put to the account of him who gives it. It will be unclean and a cause of sin to him who takes it as food. And flesh touched by any unclean thing may not be taken for food. It is to be burned with fire. And as for the flesh of the peace offerings, everyone who is clean may take it as food. But he who is unclean when he takes as food the flesh of the peace offerings, which are the Lord's, will be cut off from his people. And anyone who, after touching any unclean thing of a man, or an unclean beast, or any unclean and disgusting thing, takes as food the flesh of the peace offerings, which are the Lord's, will be cut off from his people. And the Lord said to Moshe, Say to the children of Israel, You are not to take any fat of ox or sheep or goat for food. And the fat of that which comes to a natural death, and the fat of that which is attacked by beasts, may be used for other purposes, but not in any way for food. For anyone who takes as food the fat of any beast of which men make an offering by fire to the Lord will be cut off from his people. And you are not to take for food any blood of bird or of beast in any of your houses. Whoever takes any blood for food will be cut off from his people. And the Lord said to Moshe, Say to the children of Israel, He who makes a peace offering to the Lord is to give an offering to the Lord out of his peace offering. He himself is to take to the Lord the offering made by fire, even the fat with the breast, so that the breast may be waved for a wave offering before the Lord. And the fat is to be burned by the priest on the altar, but the breast is for Aaron and his sons. And the right leg you are to give to the priest for an offering to be lifted up out of what is given for your peace offerings. That man among the sons of Aaron, by whom the blood of the peace offering and the fat are offered, is to have the right leg for his part. For the breast which is waved and the right leg which is lifted up on high, I have taken from the children of Israel, from their peace offerings, and have given them to Aaron the priest, and to his sons as their right forever from the children of Israel. This is the holy part given to Aaron to his sons, out of the offerings made to the Lord by fire, on the day when they were made priests before the Lord, which the Lord said the children of Israel were to give them, on the day when he made them his priests. It is their right forever from generation to generation. These are the laws for the burnt offering, the meal offering, and the offering for wrongdoing, and for the making of priests, and for the giving of peace offerings, as they were given by the Lord to Moshe on Mount Sinai, on the day when the Lord gave orders to the children of Israel to make their offerings to the Lord in the wasteland of Sinai. And the Lord said to Moshe, Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the robes and the holy oil, and the ox of the sin offering, and the 2 male sheep, and the basket of unleavened bread, and let all the people come together at the door of the tent of meeting. And Moshe did as the Lord said, and all the people came together at the door of the tent of meeting. And Moshe said to the people, This is what the Lord has given orders to be done. Then Moshe took Aaron and his sons, and after washing them with water, he put the coat on him, making it tight with its band, and then the robe, and over it the ephod with its band of needlework to keep it in place. And he put the priest's bag on him, and in the bag he put the Urim and the Thummim. And on his head he put the headdress, and in front of the headdress the plate of gold, the holy crown, as the Lord gave orders to Moshe. And Moshe took the holy oil and put it on the house, and on all the things in it, to make them holy. 7 times he put oil on the altar and all its vessels, and on the washing basin and its base, to make them holy. And some of the oil he put on Aaron's head to make him holy. Then he took Aaron's sons, clothing them with coats, and putting the bands round them, and the headdresses on their heads, as the Lord had given him orders. And he took the ox of the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons put their hands on the head of the ox, and he put it to death. And Moshe took the blood and put it on the horns of the altar and around it with his finger, and made the altar clean, draining out the blood at the base of the altar. So he made it holy, taking away what was unclean. And he took all the fat on the inside parts, and the fat on the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, to be burned on the altar. But the ox, with its skin and its flesh and its waist, was burned with fire outside the tent circle, as the Lord gave orders to Moshe. And he put the male sheep of the burned offering before the Lord, and Aaron and his sons put their hands on its head, and he put it to death. And Moshe put some of the blood on and around the altar. And when the sheep had been cut into parts, the head and the parts and the fat were burned by Moshe. And the inside parts and the legs were washed with water, and all the sheep was burned by Moshe on the altar. It was a burned offering for a sweet smell. It was an offering made by fire to the Lord, as the Lord gave orders to Moshe. And he put the other sheep before the Lord, the sheep with which they were made priests. And Aaron and his sons put their hands on the head of the sheep, and he put it to death. And Moshe took some of the blood and put it on the point of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the great toe of his right foot. Then he took Aaron's sons, and Moshe put some of the blood on the point of their right ears, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the great toes of their right feet. And Moshe put the blood on and around the altar. And he took the fat, and the fat tail, and the fat on the inside parts, and the fat on the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and the right leg. And out of the basket of unleavened bread, which was before the Lord, he took 1 unleavened cake, and 1 cake of bread with oil on it, and 1 thin cake, and put them on the fat and on the right leg. And he put them all on the hands of Aaron and on the hands of his sons, waving them for a wave offering before the Lord. And Moshe took them from their hands, and they were burned on the altar on the burnt offering, as a priest's offering for a sweet smell, an offering made by fire to the Lord. And Moshe took the breast, waving it for a wave offering before the Lord. It was Moshe's part of the sheep of the priest's offering, as the Lord gave orders to Moshe. And Moshe took some of the holy oil and of the blood which was on the altar, and put it on Aaron and on his robes, and on his sons and on his sons' robes, and made Aaron holy, and his robes and his sons' robes with him. And Moshe said to Aaron and to his sons, The flesh is to be cooked in water at the door of the tent of meeting, and there you are to take it as food, together with the bread in the basket, as I have given orders, saying, It is the food of Aaron and his sons. And that which is left over of the flesh and of the bread is to be burned with fire, and you are not to go out from the door of the tent of meeting for 7 days, until the days for making you priests are ended, for this will be the work of 7 days. What has been done this day has been ordered by the Lord to take away your sin, and you are to keep watch for the Lord at the door of the tent of meeting day and night for 7 days, so that death may not come to you, for so he has given me orders. And Aaron and his sons did all the things about which the Lord had given orders through Moshe. So a lot more today about sacrifice and offerings to the Lord. One thing when it comes to offerings in this context, now you have to think about the fact that 3,500 years ago, this audience who's hearing these things for the first time, they live in a world and came out of Egypt, this place of polytheism, right? The belief that there are multiple gods in control of all of the different aspects of nature, and the only way that we can interact with these gods is transactionally. So I give an offering to this specific god, like I give a bull offering to the rain god, and so he sent, and hoping that the rain god will send rain and my crops will grow, right? It's this transactional, I'm not sure how the god feels, but I'm going to do what I can to appease them so that they show me favor. But in that polytheistic context, you don't have a relationship with a god. You don't know what the god specifically wants. However, what's beautiful about the book of Leviticus and these sacrifices, even though they're so foreign to us in our Western context, is that this God is a monotheistic God. This is a God that has a direct relationship with his people. And these laws are direct ways in which the people can interact with their God and gain atonement with their God, right? The sin offering, for example, right? The people know exactly what they're supposed to do and not do when it comes to their God, and God makes an allowance both for if they do bad things by mistake or if they do bad things on purpose. Both of those types of situations, God has provided a way in which they can come back into good graces with their God who has chosen them. It's a totally different mindset from the polytheistic worldview that they're coming from. So keep that in mind. I mean, this is God's way of saying that this is God's way of saying, you, my people, I'm not somebody who won't tell you how I feel. I will bring you in and I will tell you exactly what I want out of you. And this is a gift. It's not this weird restrictive order or this legalistic nature. No, it's a God saying, I want you to know exactly what I want from you so that you can please me to the fullest, so that you can gain my favor in the best way possible, right? It is setting up a great relationship. And so keep that in mind as you hopefully have a wonderful day.